Hello everyone, this is a guide to Basic Survival 101 in 7 Days to Die. And just recently the 14.1 patch just came out, so on top of A14 being released, now there's also plenty of more bug fixes. They also introduced a steel shovel into our inventory, so that's pretty cool. So now we have a steel fire axe, steel pickaxe, and a steel shovel. So that's pretty cool for the people who like to create and mold the world around them. Um, with this one, I'm in creative mode, so not much stuff is going to be happening to me. And I'm just going to show you guys what you need to be doing when you first drop into your 7 days world. This one will just be one of the easier biomes, but if you guys want, I can teach you how to survive in each biome, no matter which one you spawn in. I'd say the most difficult would either be the snow or the fire one, considering the fire zombies, when they hit you, they have a chance to catch you on fire on top of doing tons of damage. And also because the snow lumberjacks, those have a crap ton of health and do a crap ton of damage. So those two biomes right there are going to be the hardest ones. So for now, I'm going to show you guys what to do when you first start and get into one of your biomes. The first thing you're going to want to do is follow the basic guidance, the basic guide that the game introduced. So you just want to collect all the fiber and all that kind of stuff. Basically, just follow the tutorial that comes up when you first spawn into your game. So we're just going to do just that. We're just going to collect a bunch of grass, and then on top of that, we're going to collect wood. We're going to want 2 wood, 2 grass, and 2 small stones in order to build our very first axe. It's a lot better if you can just find like a small stick or something on the ground that you can punch. Things like, I'm not sure if this is gonna be the same. But yeah, they'll have like 10 health or something. Those are a lot better for collecting your wood. Also, small stones. You can punch rock if you can't find any small stones, which is looking like that's going to be the issue. But in order to save time, I'm just going to go ahead and give myself small stone. So we'll get 2, and then we'll create our first axe, which we type in axe, search, and create our first axe. Once that happens, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to collect as much wood as possible. Depending on what kind of player you are, you're going to want to use the wood for your weapon crafting or your building crafting. So if you're more of a creative type of player, then you're going to want to collect a bunch of wood so you can start building up your base and toolsmithing. If you're more of a survival one, to where you're nomadic, you don't want to stay in one place for too long, then you're still going to want a lot of wood in order to upgrade your weapons so they start doing a little bit more damage, and also just extra materials for basic nomadic buildings that you're going to be building while finding a more suitable pre-built house in a specific prefab. Next, you're going to want to collect a lot of stone. Same thing. Basically, just think of yourself as when you first spawn in, as you being in the Stone Age. So everything that is going to deal damage or going to be a tool is going to be made out of stone. So you really, in the beginning, all you want is nothing but stone and wood, and also plant fiber for clothes and your bedroll, now that they changed it from cloth. So that's pretty cool. So on top of that, we have a good amount of wood, we have a good amount of fiber, and like the basic guide tells you, you're going to want a full fiber set, so we're going to do that. Depending on your biome, you're either going to build a hood or you're going to build a hat. The hood, because it provides insulation, positive insulation, and if you're in the desert, you're going to want the plant fiber hat because that produces negative insulation. So the hat keeps you cool while the hood keeps you warmer. So that's how that gets broken down. Also, if you see the numbers below the pants and all that kind of stuff, those are grades. The higher the grade, the better. That wouldn't be the appropriate word. The longer they last, basically. Like, if I was to have plant fiber gloves and like a zombie were to attack me, they would almost like instantaneously destroy on my first death or close to my first death. And also they will eventually provide a little bit more protection depending on the grade. So a grade 500 plant fiber shirt will have way better stats than a grade 100 plant fiber shirt. So you're definitely going to want to upgrade those, but I'll talk about that later once we gather up all our cool stuff, all our basic things. Same thing, you're going to want to collect whatever you see on the ground that you can search. You're going to want to do that as well, especially bird's nest, because even if you are no matter if you're a survival or you're just a creative player, you're still going to need those, because you're going to need to hunt animals, and it's a lot safer than meleeing zombies if you don't really understand combat all too well. Once that happens, you're just going to build frames, and just to save time, I'm just going to grab the frames out of creative mode. Basically, you're just going to sit there and you're going to make frames with this goodness gracious, where is it? While you're sitting there, you're gonna want to build a basic house. Really, if you're gonna try and make this your permanent residence, make sure you find a water source really close, so you can keep replenishing your bottled water. Also, you're gonna want to find an area with clay, because you're gonna obviously, because you're gonna need bottled water, and clay is because clay is gonna be used a lot when you're breaking into medieval age, when you start using iron. And clay is how you build your forge, and clay is also how you build forge iron and stuff like that. Also, that's how you eventually start building steel and stuff like that. So clay is very important as well. You don't want to be too far away from clay, as well as water. Here, since I haven't really searched around because I'm not actually playing the game right now. But right now, this would almost be an appropriate spot. I just haven't found any water. No, I'm not going to try and find water, but let's just say water was around 0.5 kilometers away. This would be a perfect spot, because clearly right here, this is where clay is, and I'm definitely going to want to build somewhere around where there's clay. So then, once you find a suitable location for where you want your first building, you're just going to want to build a very basic house. You just want your bedroll to fit, and your forge, well, not forge, depending on what kind of player you are. Yeah, you're going to want room for your forge, and so basically it's going to be enough room for a campfire, forge, and bedroll. So this one's way too small. A way to save on wood is just to make it long and skinny instead of short and wide, because it saves on wood when you start building your roof. So here, a bedroll will sit 2 by 2. A campfire can sit 1 by 1, and a forge can also sit 1 by 1. So this would be perfect. And then, so you build your frame. You got to put it, in order to build the door around it, it has to sit too high, and there has to be a block on top of it in order for the door to fit. Also, another thing, you don't really need corners, so that'll save on wood as well. Or that'll save on wood, basically. So you're gonna want to eliminate the corners once you set your foundation. Any shortcuts you can take to build your basic house, you're gonna want to take in the very beginning, because you don't want to use up that many materials so early. Same thing here. We're gonna take out the corners. Oh well, that's not a corner. That one's vital, or else the door won't be able to build. So around the door, you keep your corners. And then we gotta get back up there, so we're gonna build one here and here. Another thing too, for the roof, you don't need a block on every single one of these. The way the thing works for structure support, you only need a support every once in a while. So for this one, we're just gonna skip place one, skip one, place one, skip one. So that'll be more than enough support for our roof. So then we're gonna put our roof up. and then this will be your basic house, and you're pretty much ready to survive at this point. Then this is the reason why you want to limit as many frame use as possible, because you're gonna need that wood in order to start building up your house. Because if you don't build up the wood, then obviously your house is gonna be extremely brittle, and zombies are gonna destroy it very quickly. And to save more time here, I'm gonna make a claw hammer just so we can pound it out in one hit. Oh, stuck between a rock. Finish up here, build the house. Oh, ran out of wood. So obviously at this point you're going to want to go and chop down more trees, which I'm showing you a guide, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in my creative. And we're going to go ahead and do all that. What in the world? Yeah, some things are a little shaky still. This right here, this is one of the bugs I find really annoying. For some reason, the game doesn't register you as looking at the block when you're directly above it. So what you're gonna want to do is like come at it from the side and either crouch or just stand, whichever one. And you're gonna have to build it up like that, which I don't understand, but it works. So that's how I've gotten over that. Oh my goodness, move. I want a door. Build door. Now you don't have to wait, I'm just waiting just because. And then build up your house. And upgrade it just once, since you don't have the oh, well you do because you put down rocks. So I recommend you upgrading it to scrap. And then you'll be pretty safe. Another thing too, what they made to the changes to when upgrading your walls, they made it to where to reinforce your wooden block to scrap iron, it only takes 4. So depending on how much iron you've collected, it is recommended that you go ahead and upgrade to reinforced just around your door, because I'm not sure if, well, most of the time zombies are going to come at you through your door, and the blocks, your door and blocks around your door are going to be the ones that take the most damage. So you're just going to want to reinforce the door as well as blocks around it, and you'll be fine. Once all this is done, obviously you're going to want to build your campfire. Whoops, spelled that wrong. And you're also going to want to make your bedroll. And the reason you want your bedroll is because if you do happen to die, you're just going to spawn wherever your bedroll is, and so that saves you a bunch of time and keeps you from spawning God knows where, especially if you found a very suitable place that you're going to want to live. Another thing too is to build a storage chest, because when you do hunt down animals and things like that, you need the raw meat makes it to where you attract zombies, so you're going to need a secure chest in order for the zombies not to smell you anymore. So we're going to place that here, and also it gives you a huge inventory, so you can put stuff that you don't need on you. And then here we're going to make a stone shovel. When it comes to multiplayer, they always give you a land claim block, and the reason for that is because it stops PvP around your building. When you claim a zone, it makes it to where your building is impenetrable unless by zombies, but by PvP they cannot destroy your building. Well, I mean they can, but it will take them forever, because your block durability increases by like 5,000 or something absurd. So people just aren't gonna bother. As soon as they hear the thing, they know a land claim block is there, and they're just not gonna bother and just gonna leave you alone. Recommended to just use your land claim block as a as either a piece to hold up your structure, just put it as a wooden tile, and that right there should be way more than enough protection for your base and stuff like that. So basically, we've gotten to the point where you're fully survivable. You're completely comfortable. You're not really scared of the environment anymore. And you're completely suitable for survival out here in this crazy, crazy world of zombies. This is the basic survival guide. I will make another video getting more in depth with the things you want to do afterwards, like such as things as not wasting time during the night. And a lot of things I see people do during the night is they just sit there in a corner and don't do anything. You don't want to do that. You want to spend your night either just spam crafting things in order to level up and gain levels, and just keep yourself busy. Don't really, I mean, obviously you can AFK, you can do whatever the hell you want, it's your game, but if you want to make yourself as productive as possible, just make sure that while during the day you're collecting stuff, scavenging, stuff like that, and when it's time for night, make sure you have all the stuff that you scavenge and materials like that, and make sure you have those in order to start crafting and be as productive as possible. So for now, guys, I'll see you later, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching.